G'day and welcome to the CarAdvice Garage. This is our live video stream. We're going to run through some of the cars that we have in our Sydney garage at the moment. So it's just a bit of an interactive session to give you an idea of some of the machinery we have through. And we'll start over here with the Suzuki S-Cross. So this is a car that starts from $23,000 and is available from in all-wheel drive and front-wheel drive as well. Starts from $23,000 and goes all the way up to $34,990 for the top spec all-wheel drive model. You can see here the S-Cross isn't really designed as a four-wheel drive. It's more just, I guess, designed for the type of person that wants a car that's versatile enough to go down a gravel road, and a car that's versatile enough to do some very, very light off-roading. The all-wheel drive system is selected manually and automatically, and it'll basically switch to all-wheel drive when required, whereas the front-wheel drive models are front-wheel drive only. So we'll have a look around the car. So the alloy wheels on the car look pretty decent, and finished here in white, it doesn't look half bad either. If you have any questions for us, just shoot them through in the application. We'll grab some keys here so you can have a look inside. So the interior is nicely laid out. You've got, so Race Fan 919, this one's the Suzuki S-Cross. So we're having a look here at the automatic version. We've got our satellite navigation. Hello Skew, how are you? Thank you for watching. Pretty nice steering wheel there with all your critical controls on it. The interior is nicely laid out actually. It's not a bad place to be. There's a fair bit of leg room in the back too, which is pretty cool. A decent sized boot in here as well. So this one comes with a great accessory, which is the skid plate mat. So that just sits on the boot floor and stops things from moving around. And then under here as well, we have the storage cavity too, which is pretty handy. So like I said before, the Suzuki S-Cross starts from $23,000 and goes all the way up to $35,000 for the all-wheel drive version. One more look at the outside. It's not a bad looking car. The upper spec model here has the LED running lights and also the headlight washers as well. The engine in the S-Cross is fairly reasonable. It's a 1.6 litre. So it's a 1.6 litre naturally aspirated petrol engine, which is enough to get it moving because it doesn't actually weigh that much. So our test car here also has roof racks fitted as well, with an accessory for holding longer items and skis, which is pretty cool. There's a CarAdvice office in there. So the next cab off the rank is this guy here. It is the Rolls-Royce Ghost Series II. It's a fairly impressive car, not just because it's a Rolls-Royce, but because of what lives under the bonnet, and also the way the bonnet works. So if you have a look here at the Rolls-Royce logo, oh sorry, the Spirit of Ecstasy rather, it comes in and out on its own, which is pretty cool. So the Ghost Series II has been updated with a set of full LED headlights. So as you can see here, the daytime running lights are on. Our test car is pretty special as well because of the paintwork. So you can see here it has the blue tone and then an aluminium matte finish on it, which just looks sensational with the offset. The Rolls-Royce Ghost is priced from a fairly exciting $545,000, and you'll be surprised to hear, or maybe not surprised to hear, that this particular car has over $200,000 worth of options on it, which is quite staggering when you consider that it's almost half the price of the car. One of the options are these large wheels here. So the cool thing with Rolls-Royce cars, and this one in particular, is the Rolls-Royce logo actually stays stationary. So while the car's moving, there's a set of bearings there that will hold that thing where it is. So when you're riding next to this car, you can see the Rolls-Royce logo just sort of spinning there on its own. On the side of the car, we have quite a unique feature. It's a camera built into the side. Now, you may ask, what does this do? It helps you when you're creeping out of an intersection if you can't see, because it has quite a long bonnet. This is a huge car. It's often hard to see sort of what's going on. We'll run around to the back here. So the Ghost is the second largest car they have. The Phantom is the longer one. And of course, one of the unique features of the Ghost is the way the doors open. So as you flick this guy open, they open inverted like this. Sure thing, let me grab the bonnet and then we can have a look inside the cabin as well. Just before I pop the bonnet, this is the key. It's pretty average actually. It looks just like a BMW key, except they've just replaced the Rolls-Royce. KevNat, yes I have. It's bloody fast. It's actually quite fast. So under the bonnet here, let's crack this open. Hello Brazil. Does it have a spare tyre? Good question, I'll check that in just a sec. So under the bonnet here we have a 6.6 litre twin turbocharged V12 engine. It makes a fairly hefty 420 kilowatts of power and 780 newton metres of torque. 0 to 100 in 4.9 seconds. Hello from Pakistan. Okay, so muscle car for under 30k. I guess it depends. Toyota 86 isn't a bad option. Hyundai Veloster Turbo is also not too bad as well. So you can see here under the bonnet we have fairly rigid strut bars. And the strut bars are designed there to hold the chassis, I guess, rigid as you go through corners. This isn't really a corner car. It weighs over 2 tonnes, so it's actually over 2.5 tonnes almost. So it's pretty scary. Bloody peasants. No, I don't, but it is highly tempting considering the value of the car. It's actually quite alarming because the car is so wide. It's hard to place in traffic, so you run into situations where you know you get people that are very close to you, which isn't too good. So let's have a look inside the cabin. So it's a fairly special interior, so I'll tell you why in a second. It's basically designed to house people in the back. This is the short wheel drive version, and also for drivers. So it can be split as a passenger car, but a driver car as well, whereas the top spec Phantom is more just a passenger car. So if you have a look here at the ground, the floor of the car rather, this is very thick carpet. Now this is an option with this car. It's lamb's wool, so it's genuinely made. This whole car's hand built, and this is hand woven as well. This car was specially commissioned for Australia as their press car, so you can see it there, the plate. So in the back here, I'll get this thing out of the way. If we hop inside. The back's not a bad place to be. The seats are extremely comfortable. Come with a massage function. You have all of your temperature controls here, so you can change the direction of the air. And Rolls-Royce is a little different because they use these swipey things to change the temperature. So you can have different temperature for above and then below as well for your feet. 6-month build time is just for a standard one. If you have any bespoke options, you're looking at a far longer build time as well. So I've got the screen here. Yes, there are umbrellas. I'll show you those in just a sec. So in addition to the entertainment system, we have a picnic table which folds up as well. So you can get your laptop out and you're able to do all your stuff there. What do I like more, Ford or Holden? Well, they're both pretty good, just depends on the car really. And the screen here basically controls all of your functions for the entertainment system, so the rear passenger can actually override everyone. There's this mammoth thing that comes out of the middle, which allows you to adjust your chair. So I can move my chair back and forward. I can also move this passenger's chair back and forward as well. I have my own controller here. It's called the Spirit of Ecstasy controller. So as I adjust this, I can move between everything. So we can pop it on television if we want. Go to menu. We'll head over to television, multimedia, TV. So we have no signal here because we're sort of deep in the CarAdvice garage, but we can certainly put it on radio. Select our radio station. We can also adjust our volume here as well, which is pretty impressive. Terrible radio station. So this is an impressive car, plenty of legroom. We'll jump into the driver's seat as well. I'll show you these umbrellas first. So located inside the door are the umbrellas. All you do is push this button and out comes the umbrella, which is awesome. So they're quite clever because as you put this back in, if it's wet, for example, and you slide it all the way in, all the water's going to leak, obviously. So it leaks all the way down a channel that exits the car. So you never have to worry about getting water inside your car. And then you push it back in, close this door. It also has the soft closing doors, so it sort of pulls in on its own. Same with this one. We'll jump into the driver's seat, quickly show you what that looks like. So this is Rolls-Royce Ghost Series II. This is the driver's seat here, so you can see the steering wheel is quite chunky. Turn this on. The wood panel folds out of the way, and we're able to see our navigation. Now this may look familiar, and there's a reason for that, because it's the same as the BMW system. So it's on display here, so the critical car functions. And also a very cool night vision camera, so we can flick that on. The night vision camera helps at night, so obviously you can't really see anything there at the moment, but at night time the night vision camera will allow you to see pedestrians and other people that are sort of walking around you. We can adjust the height of the car using this button here, and then we have all of our temperature controls as well. Now we can fold that back away as well when we're done with it, which is very cool. So let's move on to our next car, which is the Lexus IS300h. Now this is the hybrid version of the IS. The Lexus IS is a fairly sort of decent and renowned car in Australia. It's well priced and goes really well with the IS350 engine. But this one here in particular has the hybrid package, which is a 2.5 litre engine with an electric motor that produces 105 kilowatts of power. It starts from $57,000 bucks. This one here is the more expensive sports auto from 65. We'll grab a key for that, and while we're on the way to get the key, someone's asked about the spare tyre for the Rolls. So let's have a look. I'm actually intrigued to see what's under here. Now it looks like we just have a repair kit. I can't see a spare under there. No, there's no spare at all, so it's just a repair kit. And I wouldn't think there would be a spare given the size of the tyres, 285s and 21 inch as well. I'll grab the Lexus key. So here's the Lexus key. It's not a bad key, it's quite light, and it's a proximity sensing key as well, Lexus symbol on the back, and it's blue as well for the, sort of designates the hybrid. You can see on the emblem there as well, it's blue too. Oh, a wine cellar would be nice. Okay, so let's have a look inside the cabin. This is our long-termer, so it's been with us for a little while. Make sure we don't bash into the Rolls. Quite a nice interior. You can see it's got the red interior leather package. And it's a well-presented interior as well. The Sports Auto model comes with a very cool screen in the centre here. Now the reason it's cool is because it can move out of the way. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. Flick that on. So here on the steering wheel we have controls that we use to move between the modes that we have on the screen. And as we flick through it, you can see the whole cluster moves. It's pretty awesome. So yes, this one is a CVT, but it's only a CVT because it's a hybrid. So they team that with the CVT. The thing I don't like about this car is the screen. It's quite fiddly. It's not the best. It's not big. It's not high resolution, and it's also controlled by this guy here, which is a joystick that moves around. It's not great. You've got to take your eyes off the road to use it. But the rest of the interior feels great. It's really nicely packaged. The seats are beautiful, especially in this Sports Auto model, and they look great with the red as well. Let's move into the back seat. This car isn't huge on legroom. The IS has always sort of been a smaller car in that regard. But it's not tragic, it's not too bad. Wheels look nice on this one. And in terms of size, it's an easy car to park and manoeuvre as well. Of course, the new IS has the new headlights, which look cool. They've got like a Nike tick underneath, and then a small packaged LED headlight with the washer there as well. Let's have a look inside the boot. So the boot of the IS isn't huge, but the best part is that it's not encroached by batteries. So normally with the Lexus IS cars, boot space is at a minimum because there's tons of batteries everywhere. But you can see here it's quite good. Is it still Camry-ish? No, look, the IS isn't actually all that Camry-ish at all. I think you're thinking of the ES, which is more Camry sized, and the ES, you know, does feel like a Camry, but IS is sort of a much better car in that regard. And rear-wheel drive as well, which makes it fairly fun as well to drive, which is cool. Top speed, not entirely sure. Look, I mean, in Australia it's somewhat irrelevant because, you know, our highest speed limit's 130 before you get to Northern Territory where it's unlimited, so I'm not too sure on that one. Next cab off the rank is the Audi A3. So this is an interesting car because it's powered by a small engine. Will it let you brake traction? It will, but it has quite an intrusive stability control program, so it sort of hunkers everything down once you try, so it's not really worth trying. The Audi A3 we have here is the 1.4 TSI. It's a 1.4 litre engine that makes 110 kilowatts of power and 250 newton meters of torque, which isn't too bad when you consider the weight of the car. It's quite a small car, which sort of means you can get around easily. Starts from 35,900 and goes up to 55,200 before you get to the S models. So let's have a quick look at this car. So this one has a few options fitted to it, namely the headlights. They're pretty cool. So the new A3 has this tick down here as well, and the headlights are quite impressive too. So they work well at night, and it looks great here in black as well. Small wheels, but it really doesn't need big wheels to stand out, so that's one of the bonuses with this car. It looks good even if you do get a cheaper one like this. So let's have a look inside the cabin of the Audi A3. So you can see here it's fairly simple, but what Audi has done with this new A3 is really gone to town on quality. Everything in this cabin feels so good, like it's soft, the materials are quite premium, and there's no sort of there's no feeling there that you're getting a cheap car, even if you do get a more entry-level model like this. Rear legroom, being an A3, isn't amazing, but you know, this car was never designed to carry people in the back. The amount of legroom it has, though, is fine for what the car is. Also has rear air vents as well, which is something that a lot of manufacturers struggle with for some reason. I don't think they've ever been in Australia during a summer when you're stuck in the back. In terms of boot space, it's huge. You just won't believe how much you can actually fit in there. For a hatchback like this, the boot space really has to be commended. They've done a wonderful job with it. Let's have a look at the driver's seat. So the A3 was never traditionally a driver's car, but what they've done here is really sort of made it that little bit more premium and fun to drive as well. So let's pull this back a touch. So you might be wondering where the screen is. Let's fix that by hitting this. You can see the screen rise out of the dash, which is fantastic. Now that premium feel I was talking about, you know, it's all down here. All of these controls, they're really nicely done. Your volume controls are really nice. The gear stick's nice. This screen is quite high resolution, so you know, it feels quite premium in that regard. Now the coolest part here is actually when you go to put your navigation in. So if we head down to navigation and hit address, and we'll just randomly select a town. So you can use this guy here to actually write things in. So I find it quite hard to do when I'm driving because I'm not left-handed, but
why?
So it's a pretty cool system. It's quite intuitive, and a lot of newer cars are coming out with this, which is fine. You know, it works well. And then the central screen here also displays critical car functions as well. Alrighty, let's move on to our next car, which is the Hyundai Santa Fe. The trusty Santa Fe here is the Elite, which is our long-term test car. It's a mid-spec. Not too bad in this colour as well. Hyundai's done a really good job with really neatening up the profile and making it stand out, which is not always what the Santa Fe was good at. So I'll grab the key for the Santa Fe. How long is long term? Normally our long term cars are 3 to 6 months. How do you get the screen up? All we did was turn the car on, or the radio. If the radio's off, you can get the screen to remain down. There's a chance it could have just been down because it was a display car or something. So you just press the button on the door here to unlock it. So the interior is really nice in the Santa Fe. They've gone to great lengths to give it that premium feel that sometimes is missing from Hyundais. So again, really nice dash. Plenty of storage spaces, which is cool. Someone's been drinking Coke. This part's really great on the Santa Fe. It's a touchscreen. The satellite navigation works extremely well, and all of the functions are right there, sort of to access easily. Tyrone, we don't really drive the hell out of them. We just, do what most buyers would do and drive them sort of regularly, which is the whole key to a long-term car. Automatic climate control, nice sort of gear lever. I don't like this. Being the mid-spec, it's missing buttons and that just looks really cheap and nasty to me. So this car in particular, the Hyundai Santa Fe Elite, comes with a 2.2 litre diesel that makes 145 kilowatts of power and 436 newton meters of torque. Comes with the privacy glass as well, which is really cool. In terms of pricing, the Santa Fe Elite is from $38,490 to $59,990 for the range. Excellent rear legroom there. And also a huge boot as well, with auto opening, which is pretty nifty. So the boot's massive. Being a 7-seater, the seats fold up from the floor as well. Very handy feature for families. So my battery is running low, so we're going to have to wrap this up. Close that just using the button here. All right, we're down to our final two cars. We have, will it fall apart in 3 years? I highly doubt it, considering it has a 5-year warranty and Hyundais have really turned the tide. It's highly unlikely that you're going to have any issues. It does have a proximity trunk feature, so I was able to just use the button under here with the key near me. It doesn't have the foot waving thing though, so you've just got to press it manually. Our other long-termer is Kermit here, the Mitsubishi Mirage. This is one of Australia's cheapest cars, and in terms of price, and certainly the key sort of shows it. We don't have a Bucati Varsum, sorry. The interior of the Mirage, despite being one of the cheapest cars in Australia, isn't actually that bad. It's nicely presented and comes with some sort of normal Mitsubishi features like the global steering wheel. And this head unit here is pretty cool. I mean, it does everything that you need it to do. There's no stuffing about it, it all just works. You have the automatic climate control as well. So the Mitsubishi Mirage starts from $11,990 and goes up to $17,490 for the top spec sedan. Under the bonnet of the Mirage is a 3-cylinder engine with 1.2 litres. Makes 57 kilowatts of power and 100 newton meters of torque. So look, it's not the most powerful thing in the world, but it's enough to get this thing around because it doesn't weigh much. It's a rocking the car. Yes, it's quite easy to do because it doesn't weigh all that much. It's a very smart looking car, especially in this green, I reckon. Now, if you're just driving it down the road, no one's going to really know that you're in one of the cheapest cars on the road. Now, what have we got finally here? So the last car we have here is How's the sound deadening? It's not too bad. It is a little bit thrashy, but that's just because it's a light car and you can't really fit too much sound deadening in, but it's good enough. It does the job, and certainly someone in that price bracket isn't going to care too much about the sound deadening. The final car we have here is the Hyundai i20. It looks cool here in red. Put the keys on the dash. So the i20 is a 1.4 litre four-cylinder that produces 73.5 kilowatts of power and 136 newton meters of torque. Starts at 15,590 and finishes up at 19,590. So it's not tremendous in terms of its price, but it is getting on in age. We're hoping to see a replacement for this car here soon, but it hasn't been confirmed just yet. So it looks a little bit cheap here with no steering wheel controls. The interior is also old school Hyundai instead of the newer premium feeling stuff. So you can see here, this display unit looks a bit old. Auto stick looks a bit average as well. How's the rear legroom on these two? Let's have a look. It's not too bad. Again, you're not going to fit really tall people there, but it's enough to keep people happy. And in terms of boot, it's not too bad as well. It's quite a deep boot, so they've aimed to be able to get stuff in there. What's the pick between the i20 and the Mirage? Well, like I said, the i20 is an older car now, whereas the Mirage is newer, and the Mirage is certainly cheaper as well, much cheaper. So if you're looking for value, it really is hard to beat the Mirage. It's a good all-rounder for an entry-level car. So guys, we're going to wrap that up. We'll do one final walkthrough. We've got the red Hyundai i20. We've got green Kermit Mitsubishi Mirage. We have the beautiful blue looking Santa Fe Elite with the tow bar as well. We've got the Audi A3 1.4 TSI. We have the Lexus IS300h. We have the Suzuki S-Cross. And then finally the big bertha, the Rolls-Royce Ghost Series II. Arguably the most impressive of them, and I think we might just finish up here on the Spirit of Ecstasy. So thanks for watching from the CarAdvice garage, guys, and hopefully we'll be able to make this a regular thing from the team at CarAdvice.